Okay, Stacey, on to you. Question 2.
Question 2 is using LinkedIn Live good for business? And I'm going to go to Io first for that one.
I'm going to say yes, it is. Mainly because I'm going to say video is the future, is the kind of line I was saying. But lives are a kind of good way to reach a wider audience. So it's very, very weird. Like, we can't always gauge when we do a LinkedIn Live who's watching it, because the data isn't there to tell me who precisely is on live, which is why we ask you to comment, actually, because then we can see your names and have an idea of some of the people who are actually on live, because it doesn't tell us from the metrics. So it does make it a bit more difficult like that. And if I was doing an online kind of event elsewhere, I would be able to find out that detail. So I think there's things like that. But in terms of being good for business, I think it does, because it shows you as a speaker, people get to know you. And also, and you make more connections. So going live means that I'm talking to Stacey's network, I'm still talking to Emma's network. So we're all kind of building our kind of relationships and building our kind of network and engagement. So for me, I think it is a good thing for business. And I won piece of the work off the back of it. So that's good. I'm done.
So Emma.
Yeah, I would say yes as well. So I've got a few examples that I would cite probably. First of all, sort of building on your point, Io, with video, I would always advocate having more than one way for people to see you and to understand how to engage with you and to listen to your content or whatever that might be. So for me, this is my way of using video, and it complements my LinkedIn posts, my other parts of my content strategy, and my podcast, which is weekly. So for me, it's been a really good addition to my business, as well as learning it as a platform to use with clients. And I usually see a spike in downloads of the podcast after I do these B2B live events. This tells me that my content is working together. So what I would say is it is good for business, but like most things, have a go at it. But actually, it's got to fit within your content plan with what you're doing.
Yeah.
If it's unless it's something completely new and you're launching something completely different, of course. But mine all works together, and I think that works really, really well. Plus, I get to reuse topics across both shows, which is so people get another bite of the cherry, the audience get another bite of the cherry, I get another bite of the cherry, and it's a way of sort of repurposing the content, and we all repurpose the content from this show. We get audio, we get video, we get snippets, we get graphics, we get quote graphics. I can use Stacey's content, I can use my content. It's really, really useful, and from that 15 minutes, it's amazing how much content we get. So I would say yes, overall good for business.
And sorry,
do you want to add, and then I'll come in?
No, it's your question. I completely forgot.
Well, you missed me out.
Like, what?
I'll just go. I agree with all those points. And I would add, the content thing is a really, really strong angle, because it's a great way of it's a hero piece of content essentially that you can repurpose, and that is all increasing your visibility. I would also add that not many people are doing it. I did a poll this morning and about how people were using LinkedIn Live, whether they'd watched, whether they'd taken part, whether people actually knew what it was, and there were a couple of people that didn't actually know what LinkedIn Live was. So it's kind of new territory, which means there's an opportunity to kind of stand out, because not many people are doing it. But also because LinkedIn is really pushing video at the moment, it's launching its own in-house live platform at some point. We don't know when. It's going to be pushing it. And so I think if you can start doing it now and practice and get used to it, though, that when it does start, when LinkedIn really does launch its own platform and starts pushing that, because it always pushes its shiny new toy, its new function, its new feature, you've already practiced, you've already got slick with it. So I'm looking. I actually bought. This is one thing I've learned, is actually to write down some notes, so not just doing it completely off the hook. Yeah, and the final thing.
It's so good when you do it off the hoof, though, Stacey. It's brilliant.
Well, the final thing to say is I have got work out of it. I have had people that have contacted me, and they've asked me to do some work relating to something that I've talked about, or as a result of something that I've talked about on a LinkedIn Live. So yeah, I would say it's good. It's good for business. It's probably not for everybody if you're terrified about being on video, but yeah, I think it's good.